get ready to join, inshallah. Okay? Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. ربنا هب لنا من ازواجنا وذرياتنا قرة اعين واجعلنا للمتقين اماما رب زدني علما نافعا اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وصل اللهم على محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأتباعه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين. To conclude.
Okay. All right. So we're continuing on with the Book of Creation. Today we're going to conclude. So to conclude, we're on page 14. To conclude, 4 proofs of God Almighty are Prophet Muhammad, upon him be peace and blessings, the observed book of the universe, the Quran, and the human conscious or consciousness, which is the juncture of the unseen and the material, visible worlds.
Okay. So, what are we talking about? It's a summary of what we have been reading almost a year.
I guess affirmation of divine unity.
Divine unity, yeah. But the expression is used, the strange expression, which says proofs of God Almighty. In fact, it is not proofs of God Almighty. You cannot prove absolute. You can logically conclude it, but proof mostly is related to physical experience. So if something can be physically experienced, it cannot be absolute. If it is absolute, it cannot be. So I'm using some sort of, a kind of pre-assumed ideas that the creator must be absolute because we have been studying on it for months. So, we are not going to discuss that the creator must be absolute now, but by definition, if anything is the creator, must be absolute. That's logical because it must be self-sustaining, self-sufficient. If something is self-sufficient, cannot be limited and dependent. A dependent thing cannot be self-sufficient. So these are all the principles require each other, necessitate each other. For example, if we are saying that in order to be the creator, existence giver, it has to be self-sufficient. If something has to be self-sufficient, must be self-sustaining. If something is self-sustaining, cannot be limited. If something is not limited, it must be absolute. Do you see what I mean? These are all the logical sequences of. So, proof of God, depending on what you mean. In fact, proof of God, its original language is knowledge of God, awareness of God, becoming aware of its existence. Proof of God, which is in Arabic, ma'rifah. Ma'rifatullah. So, we have to understand that we are not going to prove it is impossible. So some people say, you cannot prove God for me. What do you mean by it? We have to explain it. If they say, you have to show it to the world. I'm looking for the creator of the universe. You are asking me to show me a part of the universe to you. It is contradictory, logical contradiction. We have to know this kind of traps that some simple-minded people use. And also, on the other hand, some, again, not very deep thinking people who claim to believe, to have believed in God, they also say that we can prove God. It's the contradictory sentence. Do you understand why? Now, we just mentioned it is self-contradictory to say prove God. Who will tell me why it is contradictory? It's a contradictory sentence.
Well, you were talking about how proofs are about physical experiences that we have, and the notion of God, by definition, can't be of this universe,
Physical.
hence physical. But I wonder if, when they say proofs, people can also sometimes prove the logical necessity. You know, they don't always mean physical things, but sequences
That's
of thinking.
correct. But here, one of the proofs of God is the Prophet Muhammad. The Prophet. Actually, the messengership in general, not only Prophet Muhammad. Prophet Muhammad maybe specifically, maybe you specifically referring to this recent century, at messengership. So if there is a messengership, the messengership comes up with an evidence, with, if you like, knowledge, let's say, or guidance to guide people how to think, then the messenger can be the source of the proof, if you like, in this sense, that the message he brings to us, to human beings, must present us the logical consistency of coming to an end. This end of what? Saying that there must be an absolute being creator, which is called God. Okay? Yeah, but it's logical consequences. But I would say, logical proof. Logic prove something logically, rationally, and it works. Because belief can be only the result of rational conclusion and supported by human feelings, because it doesn't contradict human nature, shouldn't. Even you conclude rationally about something, but if contradicts to your human feelings, you don't feel comfortable about your conclusion because it goes against human nature. So they must work together, logical conclusion and human nature. They call it human instincts. Whatever we have as human beings, they must work in harmony with each other and collaborate between them. Now, one is Prophet Muhammad, not the messengership, maybe the source of evidence. And the other one is, he said 4.
Book of the universe.
Book of the universe, because if someone says the universe only, it is ambiguous, it is not clear. Why the book of the universe? Because the people, a person, a conscious being, or a reasonable person should see that the universe is meaningful in its existence. If someone says universe has no meaning, it cannot be evidence. Because only through the meaning that we use our reason to come to a conclusion, meaning that we extract from the universe, we come to the conclusion. Meaning we extract from the universe to come to the conclusion, logical conclusion. But if someone says that universe has no meaning, it is absurd. If someone can say this, of course. But it is a very obvious contradiction, because the person must have a meaning in his own existence, so that he's still existing. He prefers to exist and continue his life. But some people, as a result of obstinacy, they say, no, there is no meaning. And why? Because if they admit that the universe is meaningful, they have to come to a conclusion that meaning refers to what? And where did the meaning came to the physical beings? What is the source of existence of the meaning in physical beings? There must be a conscious choice behind it. So what is the conscious choice behind the existence of the universe? It is inevitable. Everybody says an absolute being, which is famous with the pronoun God. So simple. I mean, not complicated. That's why the book of the universe, the term book of the universe, is important according to one's attitude. If someone says the universe is not a book at all, it means no meaning. It's a just physical being, happen to be. However, he explains it, although it is impossible to explain the existence of physical beings by themselves as well, full of contradiction within contradiction. Okay, we cannot argue anything because this man is, biased, doesn't want to accept it. That's up to you. Yeah, that's up to the person. People are free to use their freedom to deny or to confirm. Okay, this is the second, and okay, continue the third one.
Is the Quran as in Revelation in text form?
Yeah, the Quran, the revelation itself. Why? Even somebody doesn't believe in God, but we know that the physical claim of somebody and physical claim of physically being a word, a saying, a sentence, or sentences, and collection of sentences are present in the world among the human beings. So if you don't believe, even if you don't believe that, it is the word of the speech of God, the Creator, but you have to accept that there is such a being and such a thing, which is written in the form of a book. So you have to study it and reject if you don't like it. But you cannot deny that there is no such thing in the universe. For example, there is a person who says, I am a messenger. I received this message from him, from the Creator. And you cannot deny this reality, but after listening to this person, you may reject it, you may accept it, but there is a reality, the real existence of a person and the real existence of the speech or message he is coming to human beings, right? So this is another means of understanding or coming to the conclusion that such a being who is absolute must exist. But the author says you can use it, you can come to this conclusion. If someone says, I used it and I didn't come to a conclusion, that's up to him. But author says this is another way, the third way of coming to the same conclusion.
So the fourth one is the human consciousness, human side.
Yeah? Human consciousness means what? Human beings themselves. Use your own reality. Question for yourself, but where did I get all these qualities? And what are they referring to? These qualities, the human qualities, cannot be found in the physical world, and the physical world cannot be the source of these qualities, human reason, human feelings, human consciousness, for example. No one can deny that we have some sort of responsibility towards other things. Everybody has a sense of some sort of responsibility. Where did they get it? Yeah, and also you have the feeling to care other people. You have the feeling that you can learn and improve your human qualities. These are all within human. But if you reduce them to being just physical entity, then physical entity has no quality which can function as a source of these feelings, human qualities. So these are human beings themselves with their entirety, not only with their physical being, but also as a human being in the physical form. This also, the author says, is another venue to come to the conclusion that there must be an absolute being as the source of existence of this world, this universe. But the text says something more about human qualities, which is conscience and consciousness. Human conscience, feeling responsible for something. For example, I see no physical evidence at all why human beings take care of their progenies. We call them simply babies. Why should they? Is there any physical necessity that I have to take care of the baby? Physical necessity, which forces me here to feed this baby clean, wake up at night 5 times, 3 times, especially in the beginning. And you are already tired of pregnancy period, and afterwards, we call it a post-maternity period. It's very tiring, exhausted, and every hour the baby cries, you have to wake up and feed. What? No way to explain it in physical terms. Why should we? But how do these materialist people, explain it away, actually? Not really explanation, just say something. It is instinctive to take care of one's offsprings. Why? What is instinctive? Sorry. What do you mean by instinctive? Where did they get it? This instinct. Meaningless claim. Baseless. But if they say we are made and we are endowed with kind of qualities, yeah, I am made in this way. The one who made me gave these qualities to me. It makes sense. Because I didn't make it. Not because I'm taking care of the baby, because my mother took care of me. I don't remember. I don't really care, but I don't remember. I was a baby. I never remember that my mother took, so that I learned from her. I cannot say that the influence of the society or anything. Even the wildest, most primitive society. Do the people take care of their offsprings? What? The wild people? Do you think the most notorious person, Stalin, I don't know whether he was married or had a son or daughter, I don't know. He was killing everyone, a couple of million people he killed during this Russian Revolution. And I don't know if he was married. He must maybe he had a child or anything, and he took care of it. But he killed 2 million people, but took care of his offspring. What? How do you explain this? It's difficult, isn't it? It's very, and also it's very general among humans, animals. Animals. Is there an animal who doesn't take care of his baby? I mean, generally, yes. Generally, not the question, yes, but they take care of their baby. Yeah. Maybe some specific species, I don't know, they may have another way of regenerating their progenies. In other way, because there is no one way of creation. Every creation is unique. And also endless varieties of types of creation in order to demonstrate that the creator is limitless. So, generally speaking, it is the case. We don't know. I was reading a book very recently, and it said, who impregnates the plants? Yep. The one who impregnated Mary. That was, I laughed. Yeah, I was in the train, so I just laughed. So people look at it. I don't care. So, we now ask these questions. Who impregnates the plants? Every plant is new generation. Why? Why should they? Every animal is new generations. Why? Of course, the most apparent that we are experiencing are human beings. We take care of it. I took care of the children, my children. It was impossible not to. Why? I don't know. I'm made in this way. There's only one way of explaining. I'm made in this way. That's it. Okay. None? So, but that is the human consciousness, which is, okay, come on, take over. Don't let me speak over you.
Which is the juncture of the unseen and the material, visible world.
What does it? Come on. Say, what does it mean? We studied all this. These are the summaries of what we have. Of course, it was a year ago, but it doesn't matter, maybe months ago. Come on, say.
I guess one way of saying that, or explaining that, is that it's what extracts or receives the meaning from what is in the material world.
So it is a junction. Explain it more so that your wife. Did you understand what he said? You see. Even you cannot express yourself to your wife. And how can I understand? The closest person. So.
I guess juncture, another way to explain juncture is like the intermediary platform or something which connects the two. And the two in this instance is the matter which is perceivable, observable. And
So connects one thing to another. I take the J train or A train. They pass through Broadway Junction station. So people get out and get in because they connect to another line in this junction. So it is a means of connection.
Yeah.
Okay, connection between two railway stations or what?
Well, I mean, the material side of existence, which is again perceivable and observable, and the immaterial side of existence, which is, I guess, manifested in the matter, but must be extracted through our consciousness.
So immaterial means simple language,
Non-physical
non-physical, which are, what is that? Give me an example.
meaning.
Yeah. Meaning, everything is meaningful, so that meaning. Yeah. So human beings are the junction between the physical and its meaning, so that they use the meaning by extracting it, as you said, from the physical beings and come to a conclusion, to arrive a conclusion about the source of existence of this material physical world. Right? So human beings can do that. There may be other creatures as well. I don't know, you can angels, you can call gene, whatever. It doesn't matter really, because I don't care about genes. I'm not a gene, I'm not whether they are there, this kind of beings, none of my business. But there may be something. Of course, there are trillions of different kinds of creation. Why should I bother about a particular name? None of my business. I wouldn't spend 1 minute what it is, although I keep reading about today. But I read a beautiful explanation of what religion should be, coming from the morphological derivations of the word, etc. It made sense to me, but it's not my concern. My concern is me. Yeah, I see that I am a junction between this word, physical side of it, and between the meaning, and come to a conclusion. I conclude, I produce the conclusion. I am able to do that. That's human consciousness. So I have to use it. I have to use it. For example, in our daily life, we always do it. And we do it in our worldly affairs. Yeah? For example, if you apply for a job, what do? You think, what are the possible questions or concerns? What shall I answer? Get ready and question. So if you go to a place, you see that, what is that? What do they require? What do they require from me? So investigate it and learn. So if you see something on the street, even something weird going on, you say, what's going on there? None of you know, we take care of it. And of course, mostly because of the familiarity, abundance of the evidence, we don't use enough. In our practical life, you can ask me, for example, the question, did you question the meaning of anything that you experienced this morning? Apart from my readings, nothing. It was sun rising early. Then I said, oh, it is beautiful, the color change, harmony. That's it, nothing else. I experienced many other things. I didn't pay attention to it because of this familiarity. Familiarity is a very important impediment in the way that the people think, because it must be something new. For example, if you see that in 2 months, a seed grows into a plant, it becomes a tomato plant, you say, this tomato is growing. But if someone suddenly brings a tomato to you, you go, because we are not familiar with it. Otherwise, the process of coming into being for a tomato is the same. But there is no difference. Either through my hand or through a bone. Not bone, it's a wood, a kind of wood. Why am I surprised and say, no, it cannot happen, it is impossible, while I am experiencing all these miracles? Materially impossible to explain way of the things are coming into existence. Why should I do that? Because familiarity is a very big obstacle and a very powerful obstacle in front of us to go into the reality or investigate the reality of creation, reality of the things out there. We don't question. If someone comes out with a baby, saying that this baby doesn't have a father, we say, how come? Impossible. But even has a father, even 10,000 fathers, it's still strange to come up. A baby is coming into existence and ready to be grown, of course. And qualities, human qualities, are really already endowed in it, or ingrained in his nature. Its nature in itself, we don't get surprised if it goes through pregnancy. Why? period of pregnancy. How it is developing, let's say, not 9 months, but 9 minutes. Well, if it has always been in 9 minutes, we wouldn't be surprised. Why not? It clearly, because that time is not the factor that creates. Time is the way the things are created. So we observe them in sequence. So it can be 9 seconds. If it has always been in 9 seconds, we won't be surprised. But if it is, when we contrast it with 9 months and 9 seconds, that is miraculous, unbelievable. How can you believe that in 9 months a baby is growing then? How do you explain it? But in 9 seconds, no. Maybe without timeless. It's possible. Why? Because it is the result of an act of creation which is performed by an absolute being. So we have to question our familiarity. We should be always amazed with the creation. Whatever you see, a bird is flying there. How did it come into existence? Well, we have to question it. We have to admire it and take it seriously. What does it mean for me? Because I can question, I can get the meaning, and it is the way it is coming into existence or acting, so that I can arrive in another conclusion, which is not in the physical world. That's why human beings are endowed with the quality to function as a junction between this physical world, as you said, and its meaning it refers to. Extracted. So if you put the book in front of a mouse, although the genes are, the DNA structure almost the same with one exception, and it starts knowing and eat the paper. If you give it to a human being, it reads and it says, oh, it doesn't make sense, it makes sense, it is good, it is exciting, it is amusing, etc. Or really consistent, rationally consistent, or really not very much so. But we come to a conclusion. That is human nature. That's why human beings, how the human beings are. We know that which human beings are junctions between this physical world and its meaning, what its meaning refers to. You see, you make me speak about. Okay. So the junction between what, as the word says?
Unseen and material.
And the material, visible word. Unseen means it's not the right word. Unseen. Now, what do you mean unseen? But you don't see it. Doesn't matter. We have a lot of experiences within the universe, not necessarily that it will be absolute being. We don't see that. No one sees the feelings, his or her feelings. This is unseen. So, are they right? No. What is a translation of hype? So what hype really means cannot be describable within the conditions of this universe, which means absolute being. So also what this universe refers to, for example, the next creation or second creation or another type of creation, which is called hereafter in the religious texts. So the second creation is unseen to me because I have no experience of it, but rationally I come to the conclusion that there must be such thing. There must be such a thing. Another type of creation which my human capacities will experience in its food, in their food, all the capacities. Why? I have been given it. Why? It cannot be any without any purpose, because I see in the creation nothing is without any purpose of existence. My feelings also must have a purpose of existence, and it must be fulfilled. Right or wrong? What do you say? That's what I. Anything, any more question, concern, comment, further explanation? Something is not very clear. No, quite. No. Okay.
I have a question. In terms of the human consciousness and the human conscious being, what is the distinction between that and the Prophet Muhammad as a messengership? Are both kind of the ways that that message is traveled and there's that output that is meaningful?
So the last piece, that last 2 seconds, I understood up to what is the relationship between the messengership or messenger of the prophet, or not prophet, messenger,
The messenger with
and
the human conscious and
Yeah.
consciousness.
yeah,
Can both of those, the human conscious and consciousness, be described as a messengership as well?
I see. In fact, if you want to, if you, if you want to see the human consciousness and the message of the messenger, it must be here, maybe, or not. Don't go there. Far here. So when people see it far away, I feel that I have to shout more. Now, if you take the message, the meaning, everything is a messenger. Yeah? Everything is a messenger. Got it? If you take the meaning as the message, yes, it is a message. For example, is there anything in the universe that it doesn't carry a message, which means it doesn't have meaning? What do you think? I don't think so. Yeah, I agree with you. So everything is a messenger. But when we call the messenger, we mean, or the text is called the messenger. Otherwise, normally, if we look at the universe, everything is a messenger, or all things are messengers, carrying the news from their creator, introducing their creator to us. We need to think about it, use our consciousness. So, in fact, I don't know whether you said this one knowingly or accidentally. I have no idea. But it also refers to your question refers to a very true thing that we don't usually realize. The common human consciousness, if you like how do you say, the spiritual representative of human consciousness. How can I say this? For example, community means every individual which is the member of this community has a common representative of the individuals it encompasses. In this sense, I don't like the word spiritual there, but not a physical being. For example, state. State is not a physical being. It is the representative of the administrative body. So if there was no members of the administrative body, there would be no state. It doesn't have an independent physical entity. Do you see that? Community, for example, if there was no member of a community, can we talk about community? No. So there is no real physical entity. So if you understood what I mean, human consciousness is represented by a messenger with capital M, messenger. That is what the message is all about. He brings to us from our Creator. But that you were aware of it because some people explain it in this way. But these people are very rare people in Muslim theology. Have you read like this? No. That's why I guess I'm not saying you are not aware of it. Maybe you may come across with this, but it is not everywhere. Why? It is important. Your question is important because we should not alienate ourselves from the message of the messenger. Because the messenger is the verbalization of the meaning of the universe. That brings the message to us. But that's extremely important. Why? I mean, we are going into details now. Your question is the quite detailed question. You can read the message only bearing this definition in mind. Otherwise, you can alienate, separate the message of the Quran from the message of the creation. Because you say it is something different. But by definition, Quran is the verbal explanation of the meaning of the universe. The Quran, original Bible, original Torah, all the messages that the human race from the beginning to the end, that history says that I don't care whether the other people had it or not, I have it in front of me. Yeah, I'm not arguing that Moses' Torah is really revealed by them. I don't know. I haven't experienced it. But it is historically presented to us. But since I see in my own life the Quran as the message of the Creator claims to be at this, so I study it, I see the consistency. Consistency in what? Within the Quran as related to, who will tell me?
My experiences.
Sorry?
My experiences in the universe
What else?
and my own human feelings.
Your own
within
self.
myself.
That is what this consistency must be seen. The Quranic verbal explanation, the words, spoken explanation, must correspond to my human feelings. In this sense, your human feeling, it becomes the common representative of the human consciousness. By definition, it must be so. And at the same time, this message is not alien, stranger to the meaning that I can extract from the universe. People feel somehow fear about this way of talking. You know why? They think that first, believing the Quran may be reduced to the same thing as the universe says. Yeah? Same thing as human nature says, human feelings, I mean by nature, the way we are created. So they may lose respect to it. That is the false, baseless, irrational fear. Why? They think that it is reduced, it is going to lose its value in the eyes of the people. Another thing is, they may say, okay, if the Quran is telling nothing more than what the universe is saying, or nothing more than what human feelings are saying, so it may become superfluous, unnecessary in the eyes of the people. This fear also is made baseless. This fear is also baseless. Why? How many kinds of feelings we have? Can you count? How many kinds of meanings you extract from the universe? Can you count? In everything, people want to learn the meaning of existence of an atom. They are investing billions of dollars in order to know the message of the atom. One atom. Can you imagine? So, can they claim that we reached the end? So, the meaning is really for us not comprehensible in its entirety. Human feelings also are not comprehensible in their entirety by ourselves as well. So, all-encompassing knowledge, which is the source of the existence of human being and the universe, says, okay, I will make it available for you in a verbal form. So you can interpret, you can understand as much as the number of the human beings there are on earth. I created. In this sense, there is a direct relationship, but this subject is a bit subtle because we are not used to thinking in this way, but some people do. Some people do think in this way. And it is true to me, it makes sense, because if the Quran cannot be understood by me alone, for example, as far as I'm concerned, how can I confirm? How can I be sure that it's really true or not? Yeah? It must make sense to me. At the same time, it must make sense to you too. And to another person. It makes sense. It means it must have the capacity to address every human being. If there is a human being who is created with the lack of comprehension, for example, we call, let's say, mentally disturbed from their birth. Yeah, they cannot really think normally. That is the way they are created. They are not responsible to confirm or reject the truthfulness of the claim of the Quran. Why? They cannot use their ability, which is not enough. So you understand that the Quran and human conscience must correlate. Do you understand this? Necessary. We shouldn't be afraid that, it means we are reducing the value of the Quran. Something else. SK? Okay, thank you. Did you stop the streaming? No, only I didn't see it on the screen. Yeah? This is what I wanted to know. Okay? So, First of all, we don't trust humanity. The second, we don't trust our comprehension of the meaning of the universe. Why? Some people may not get it right. Of course, it is always possible. You may go out and in the traffic, you may confuse and then a car accident. Isn't that possible? Does it stop you from driving? Some people get car accidents. Some people are killed in car accidents. So that shall we prohibit the production of the cars and people shouldn't ride the car or drive the car? Because some people get it wrong, if you like. So, in fact, we should, as the Quran itself says, we should esteem, we should accept the human nobility from their birth, from their creation, so that we should respect human beings. Because of this lack of respect to human quality, we don't trust people. We say there are some people who are deniers, so Quran doesn't address them. Quran addresses them. We don't feel confident in ourselves that the speech of the Creator must be able to be understood by everyone. This confidence is necessary. You know why? Even, for example, even was wrong. Sorry. We learn through teaching, through being educated. So as we are educated, we learn better and better. Human beings cannot learn without being subject to education. Now, we must educate people. Because if someone trusts in human nobility, then we say, okay, even he claims now that he doesn't know, he doesn't accept, but you have to have the confidence in his quality that if I teach him, if I claim that I know, it means I can teach him and he can learn. This confidence is necessary in ourselves in order to have the message of the Creator to be spread to everyone with no exception. Because we don't have this confidence. It is our own limitations. So we don't try to teach other people who may be already denying the message of the Quran. We don't. You know why? Because we don't know. We haven't learned it. It means if I say, no, I cannot speak to this man, I cannot convey the message that I learned from the Quran to this man, it means nothing is wrong with this man, but everything is wrong with me. I haven't established my confidence. It means I haven't used my human feelings fully in order to understand the message of the Quran. I didn't make it rationally acceptable as a human being for myself. Otherwise, I would be going and speaking to everyone freely. Do you understand this? Oh, these are important points, although I wanted to finish this section. Because this is the end, now the conclusion part, just summarizing what we have studied so far. I said, okay, let's start a new chapter next Saturday, but it seems to be not likely, really. It doesn't look like it. So, okay, but I think these are fine points. So, we love making discriminating people like this. believers, not non-believers, and somebody else over there, munafiqun, hypocrites. Yeah, we do this because of the language, apparent language of the Quran. It's a big business. It's a big subject. I always say that, look, if we have any this kind of contradictions, it means we don't know how to read the Quran. The methodology is missing. So without methodology, what can you do? Well, I am the teacher here. Without methodology, following a certain method, how can you teach in your class? You can't. Methodology must be accepted. At least it must be in your mind. So within this framework, I have to present the subject at the level of my audience students. So, but unfortunately, those people who claim to follow the Quran have not developed methodology of reading the Quran. Show me a book, a person who says, who claims that how to read the Quran is here. I present it to you. Why? We are going into a social disease among the Muslims, the believers of the Quran, believers in the Quran. What is that? Because our confirmation of the Quran is not methodologically consistent, just taken for granted. We are Muslims. You understand? No methodology, let alone having a methodology of reading the scriptures, let alone we don't have the definition of the scripture, the Quran, for example. What is the Quran? We say word of God. It is meaningless. What do you mean by word of God? What is the word of God? Where did you see it? What's your evidence there? But there are some miraculous things. Every book has some miraculous explanations of everything. It doesn't make it word of God. Why? We don't have the methodology. Because we don't bother. We take it for granted. I believe, and I am saved. But on the other side, every follower of religion claims the same thing. I believe in Buddhism, and I'm saved. In Christianity, definitely I'm saved. Judaism, Jewish tradition. I'm a chosen one. How can I not saved? This is what I'm. This is all for taking for granted claims. Well, it doesn't mean that we have no reason at all. No, we have partial reason. Fragments of here and there with the reasoning. We have some small evidence, but not as a concrete model that we have. No, I don't think I've never seen any concrete model of understanding the scriptures, reading the scriptures, the method of reading the scriptures. So the author of this book doesn't qualify it, but it is very important to notice that this author describes the definition of the Quran in 40 different ways. Really, 40 different ways. Why? Each description of the Quran is never that you heard. Now, it doesn't say it is the word of God. That's it, revealed by God to the heart of Muhammad. These are all claims. You cannot read the Quran with this methodology. There is no methodology there saying that it is written by somebody. So what? It's not methodology. It is not a model of reading the source. It is just a claim. Got it? So he doesn't make order. Out of this 40, none of the definitions you can find Not you can find some parts, okay, but which claims as the classical Sunday school, Muslim Sunday school teaching that God revealed through Gabriel to the heart of the prophet, his word is missing. No such thing at all, because it is nonsense. Really, it is just a claim about nonsense. May be correct, but the word may be correct. The wording may be correct, but meaning is inconsistent. We have to know that. That's why we are trying to make it tangible, practical. I can do it. I can read the universe like this. I can read the Quran like this. This is my method of extracting the meaning and interpreting the meaning, what this meaning refers to, and come to a conclusion. It needs work for young generation. Okay, who is going to study Islamic studies? So he must say, I'm going to do PhD on reading the Quran, the methodology of reading the Quran, principles of reading the Quran. If you go and speak in the masjid or in a mosque or community, they will say, principles of reading the Quran? Are you talking about tajweed? Simple-mindedness. Okay, even we don't know really that such a thing exists and such a thing that we have to take on our shoulders. Okay.
So next bullet point. Can people find the all-great creator with their intellects?
It's a question. We have been studying this. What do you think? What is your answer?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, explain somehow.
To confirm, you need to use your intellect. To
No.
confirm your belief.
Yeah.
There's no confirmation of belief without reasoning and intellect.
Okay.
So, and I think it's the only way
Okay.
to confirm.
Now, but this short sentence infers that can people find the all great creator with their intellect only, without being educated, taught? It means.
I would say yes.
Still yes. Okay. Good. Excellent. Carry on. Explain. What do you conclude, for example? Give an explanation.
I mean, the idea of like belief just with the heart, or like some kind of concept of feelings, will not encompass who I am, since I am born with an intellect and the capacity
Okay.
of reasoning.
Right.
It would be a contradiction to claim that I'm confirming belief with something that I cannot define with reason. I hope I'm not
Believe in
confused.
what? Now, can I help you?
Yes.
I think you are struggling, of course, to express yourself, but let's do it in this way. Let's be clear about the difference between necessity of intellectual and intellectual confirmation of the conclusion of all great creator means really something is a translation of Akbar, beyond. It's necessity of using intellect is different from finding the all great creator with your intellect alone. Intellectual activity alone, but necessity of it is different. Yeah. If you are married, if you are not married, if somebody is not married, I don't want to be particular to any person. If you get married with your intellect only, you will end up finding yourself in trouble. What does it mean? But while you are getting married or, deciding about a person that it can be a company for me, for my future life, if you don't use your intellect, you will be in trouble again. What do I mean? I'm making very clear distinction between necessity of the using of intellect is different from intellect alone can reach out to the creator of the universe. Which kind of conclusion it will be if I use my intellect only? Give us if anybody, not only one person. So you can think, if you have, while you are reflecting on the subject, somebody else, give a practical example to me.
I think it's biased. I mean, if you look at, well, first, if you look at the question itself, there seems to be some challenging phrases that are used, like finding the all-great creator. What does that mean in and of itself?
Yeah.
Are you talking about finding the absolute within creation, or within what's, again,
Okay.
the point that we've already talked about? Or are you talking about the ability to
Now,
confirm? Yeah.
what you said, finding the absolute, right?
Yeah.
Now, it gives us some sort of solution. Finding the absolute is different from necessity of the existence of absolute.
Right.
Necessity of the existence of absolute is
Confirmable.
confirmable by intellect.
Yeah.
But finding the absolute, we don't know what it really represents.
Right.
So that is the difference that we got. That is the first part of your speech. The second part, I didn't really allow you to complete it.
Yeah, well, I think the second part is the question ends with their intellect. I think if you focus on their itself, the intellect is something which is also not created by us, which is given to us.
Yeah,
Therefore,
of course, everything is given. Yeah.
Right, so
Even the
therefore-
earth is given.
Right. So therefore, if I am, and it begs more, I guess, explanation for what we understand by the word intellect itself. If I am saying that intellect means the ability to question or find the rational explanation to what is observable, not just physically, but also non-physically or immaterially, then I do think our intellects also have the ability to question their source of existence. Within itself as well. So only intellect can be used to question the source of existence of intellect. But if you say find the all-great creator, then I don't think intellect only can confirm that, especially when intellect itself requires that you use all other qualities and feelings and whatnot to confirm the existence of the creator or the necessity of the.
So I don't have any definite answer. But because why not a definite answer? Because what do we mean by it, as you said? What do we mean by finding the absolute? Just necessity of the existence of an absolute. Correct. Then you can. Necessity of the existence of an absolute. You see the definition? That is correct. You can find. But how about what this absolute is all about and why? What am I going to do with this conclusion that there must be an absolute being? So what? So what's it? Oh, there must be an absolute being. Okay, fine. Yeah. Like a mathematician says, there must be infinite. Yeah, I mean, it goes to the infinite. This number goes to infinite, etc. But what are you going to do with it? For a mathematician, it is the very easy way out to get rid of these unsolvable questions that human mind rises. So what is the easy? Oh, it goes into infinite. Excuse me, sir, what do you mean by infinite? No explanation. Because there is no infinite in the universe. Right? No, that is, I'm not blaming the mathematicians or the discipline of mathematics at all. That's how it works. It is about this universe, or the explaining the quality of the universe in and of itself, by itself, within itself. That is the science. Physics studies one side, chemistry studies another side. Understandable. We have they have to specialize in different sides of the universe. That's how human beings learn. But when it comes to the knowledge of the absolute, we need another type of education. So I agree with you.
I felt like to be able to listen or understand the second step, we needed that confirmation by the intellect of the existence of an absolute being, and then we will be able to receive the message for it.
Oh, that is the starting point? Yes. Necessary step? Yes. Yeah, it is a necessary step. Without going through this step, even you directly introduce yourself to the speech of the creator, teacher. We shouldn't use now the creator. Speech of the teacher is pointless because we are not using our tools. As if you go to the class and you have no intention to learn it because I know it. Yeah. For example, you copy-paste the conclusion of the solution of a, let's say, theorem. Now, this theorem tells me this, and conclusion is, let's say, X, Y, Z, whatever it is. And teacher says, okay, how did we come to this conclusion? And how are we going to utilize it? You say, I know the conclusion, I don't care. That's what mostly the followers of the Quran do. But I know the conclusion. There is God. What are you talking about? Definitely there must be a creator, not the creator. Why? They don't know the creator. They don't know the absolute. So there are two sides at the same time functioning here. One is, I don't need the teacher because I suffice myself. No? I'm enough for myself. So I don't need teacher. The other one says, I don't need teacher because I have already memorized the conclusion. There's God. Both of them are equally wrong. It's because none of these two approaches put you in contact with the necessity of the existence of this absolute. What are you going to do with it? None of my business, because let's say, my simple example, this computer or this pencil has a maker, definitely. A designer. Huh? Okay. So what? I paid and I'm using it. I paid for it and I'm using it. This designer is not my concern anymore. But what we do, we think that we are concerned with the creator of the universe. By what? By following the rules of the religion. That the religion introduced rules. But following the rules does not necessitate that you are in contact with the absolute being in your practical life or in your understanding. So the universe is a creator, or like your relationship with the state. And the set law. So, yeah, there is an administration in this country. Well, it is legitimate, illegitimate, none of our business now. It's not our topic. So, there's an administrative body in this country. The people are following the rules produced and introduced to the people, and it keeps somehow harmony. Yeah, and the things work in this way. If everybody follows the rule, yeah, it works better. So you say, since I'm a citizen, I don't know why, just because I was born in this land. So what? It wasn't my choice. Why should I be privileged from another person? I was born here, so I don't know. I didn't know. But still, I mean, practical. This is a practical solution. I was born, so I found this society around me, and this society is administered with this, and I follow the rules. Does it make you confirm the legitimacy of the state? Does it make you have an establishment between the state and your feelings, so that you can connect it? This is called worship. When you follow the rules of a state, these crazy people in the name of religion, they think that when you follow the rules of the religion, rules of the state, you are worshiping it. No! Who worships the American state? I mean, there may be some really redneck patriots. So they may really worship it. That's their idol. Maybe, but not a normal human being. Worship it, but follow the rules. Following the rules does not necessarily make you a worshiper of the state. In this case, we need further education. Intellectual conclusion is necessary, but intellectual conclusion cannot establish a human relationship with its original existence. Do you understand the difference? That is why human beings need another type of training, education, so that they will go into this, what the requirements, consequences of these conclusions require. This is what I mean. What is the consequence of this conclusion, which is intellectual conclusion? There must be a creator. What does it require for me as a human being? That is how the revelation comes in and gives you not only rational example, rational way of reasoning, it's intellectual document, but Quran is full of psychological analysis. Yeah. When you think of this matter, it is amazing. When you look at the Prophet's life, it is, to me, the Prophet is a psychologist. acts towards every person according to his level, his capacity, his or her, and the requirements of his expectations. You expect something different from what I expect. And I say it may seem to be irrelevant, but I'm excited about this conclusion. The hardest profession in the world is messengership. You have to present the subject to everybody according to his or her expectations and capacity. Oh man, you get tired of it. It is very easy to speak generally, but the Quran is full of psychological analysis. Why? How we should tie up to this absolute being so that I can satisfy my existence, the existence of my human feelings, to fulfill their purpose of existence. But intellect, yeah, concludes one thing, but it doesn't mean that we have to leave it. No, you have to employ intellect at every level, but also we need something extra. Intellect cannot find out the way of connection between me and my creator, or between the universe and its creator. For example, I know that I don't know, that something, a bird, simple example, has a creator. What shall I do? What do you do with it? The bird has a creator. Yeah? Do I deny? No one denies. Some says the matter, some says an absolute being. Okay, what shall I do? What is it to do with me? So I cannot really communicate between the creator of the bird and between my feelings. It needs education. It needs training. That's why you may not be aware of it or not, because commonly among the society, Quran is presented to us in such a ridiculous way that only Quran is the source of rulings, like a law book. Not only the small fraction of the Quran is a law book. The biggest side, which is normally accepted among the scholars of the Quran, 95 at least % of the Quran is psychological analysis. All the prophetic narrations, the history is telling, all the people's attitudes towards the messenger, towards God, how they reason, how they communicate with their properties, with their qualities, etc., is the main subject of the Quran. That's why we don't know, we are not aware that the scripture is about, if you like, spiritual training. But it has ingredients in it, definitely intellectual activity and some practical, physical order. It means law. Yeah, practical. Physically, I have to do it. But physical practice of the rituals are not worship alone. It must have ingredients in it. What does it mean? Through this physical practice, you have to connect your feelings to its source of existence. That's what the Quran does. So what we did, we reduced the Quran to a law book. It is a Jewish tradition, you see what I mean? I'm not naming Jewish tradition. Torah means, in fact, a law book. reduce the Torah into a law book. What we are doing? The same thing. No wonder why the Quran keeps giving the example of Jews to the readers of the Quran who are not Jews, you and me. Why? Don't become a Jew, huh? It means Jewish attitude. Don't turn my message into a law book. So, state administration communicates with you only through laws. Can they make you require your love for the state through a law? That most people pay the tax with hate. Well, if only ask the accountant saying that isn't there a way to reduce it a bit? So find out the ways in the laws that interpret the income in this way or another way, saying that it was really not the result of my company's activities, the profit, but it was just the donations or something like that. You see what I hear? Or I don't know, inheritance, something. Find out a way, or the best way, for example, saying that the properties are getting old, so they call it what? Who knows? Depreciation. So they say, okay, the property I bought, let's say for $100, but since then it lost its value, it became 70. So calculate the tax accordingly. It is worth $70, for example. Why? To run away from it, because this is not established on, if you like, emotional attachment. There is no worship. The state doesn't ask you to worship. The parents don't ask you to worship. Only the absolute being that intellectually you concluded ask you, I don't need your, the verses who says, I don't need your actions. I don't need your help for the pilgrims to feed them, to water them. It's very important because of the climate, watering them, providing the water supply. God doesn't need you. And these watering and feeding, that's the Quranic verse. Simple, but it doesn't save you. So your charity doesn't reach you, it doesn't reach God as it is. You have to have worship consciousness behind it. That's what the Quran teaches. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't feed the pilgrims, you shouldn't water the pilgrims, but it must have another perspective. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't pray. Physically, yes, you do, but where is the worship in it? That is what the Quran teaches, and unfortunately, we don't know that the Quran is all about this. We don't know, because no one talks about this. Some people, I know, reading a book written by a psychologist saying that, Quran is a psychology book, which I agree. The more I study the Quran, the more I am convinced that it is a psychology book, really. It is also physical rulings, but if you don't, God doesn't need your tax. Yeah, God needs consciousness from you. It means worship, the consciousness of worship from you. It doesn't mean that, I know God and I don't have to pay tax, if you like, or zakat, which is a technical word, charity, or giving to charity. It doesn't mean that. You have to do it, but what reaches to God, it is your meat and your blood. The Quran uses this expression, the meat and the blood, you sacrifice something and distribute it. It doesn't reach God, but your taqwa reaches God. But without doing this, you cannot really communicate with the Creator because you are ignoring His authority in your physical world. But at the same time, your consciousness is required or a must. That is the purpose of the Quran. It means we pray in order to practice the sense of worship. We obey the law in order to practice the sense of worship. That is an unfortunate that we emphasize on the action, but the purpose of the action was what? In order to worship. And the worship side is not taught. Generally speaking, worship side is not taught. Can you show me an institution or a sheikh or imam, anybody, who really teaches the content, ingredients of worship? I haven't seen. Nowadays, I haven't seen. If you have seen it, please introduce it. But not only that's why I avoid using the word spirituality, because spirituality is a completely different concept. Completely different concept, and this is a different matter. So I avoid this word, this spirituality word, because people think that what is taught here in our class, I am propagating the commonly known spirituality, if you like, or the Sufi. Well, we are not really. We're talking about any subject as the Sufis talk. They always talk a mystical way, or no, we are talking in a concrete way. It's a real examples that make sense, and I can confirm it as a human being. Rather than say, I don't know. Some people know it. You don't know, but there are some, especially. No, we don't use this language. I must know it by myself. I must experience it by myself. So, your question took me to this track. I know it will take a lot of, it's a long time actually. But there was an answer, I see, can people find the all great creator, the translation of, I think, the absolute being God as the absolute one with their intellects only. The answer is, to start with, it is necessary, but the ultimate goal is worship. Worship cannot be established only logically, but training your senses. Training your senses so that your physical life will have a meaning supporting behind it. Now, what do you think? Shall we study one more bullet point? Okay.
The book of creation's order is so subtle and delicate that placing its point in its exact place requires an absolute knowledge and power that can create everything.
Create, the power that can create, that then create everything. Yeah, now, it means absolute power. Create means absolute. I mean, without the notion of absolute, we cannot talk about creation. That's why those people, in a practical example, that's why those people who don't believe in God, they cannot use the word creation. Contradicts. If there was no absolute source, there was no creation. What is there for them? The things themselves as they are. Not the creation. There's no act of creation. But the things are happening by themselves. How? Of course, they cannot explain how. They cannot explain that, no, I know how it is working, but how they exist, how their qualities exist. No. That's why They hate one word, existence. Existence of anything, they hate it. But if you say existence by mean existence, the nature, they love it. This, we shouldn't, existentialism is nothing to do with what I mean here. So that is materialistic view, actually, confined to the conditions of this universe. So existentialist philosophy is different from what we mean here. So a source of existence of anything, any quality in the universe, any quality in yourself. Source of existence of the quality. For example, I'm not talking about a book. Yeah. So what is the source of existence of this paper or the compilation of the paper sheets? No, I am talking about what makes this compilation of sheets, the sheets of paper, into a book is meaning in it. So, source of existence of the meaning in the book. That's what the materialist philosophers hated, and they never talk about it. I mean, if you learn something, tell me that I'm wrong. I don't think so. I've never come across such understanding, apart among the materialist ones.
What does the author means by order? The book of creation's order. The way, I mean, the way it is compiled, like
the way they are
the
operating.
information is like given, like the first one, the second one, the third one, or the order, like.
And then not the first, second, third. No. They are operating all together, not within a chaos. Perfect harmony. They all know as if each other. Yeah. They arrange everything each other. For example, if there's a, God forbid, if there's a fire alarm and there is a fire, we are sure that it is not a dream, just real one. So we all jump to the door. But while we are getting out of the door, what we have to do, we have to take care of each other. So if there is somebody in front of me, I cannot climb on top of it and step on it. Yeah. So we squeeze each other, we adjust each other and get out of it. In the universe, everything adjusting its position by itself or not, it's a question. Adjusting its position according to the rest of all elements of creation, the universe. So that is the order. They perfectly, harmoniously, with no clash, if you like, no disorderliness, no chaotic action taking place within the universe. Although our ignorance of the explanation of the events, how they are happening, may seem to be chaotic. For example, you can water a bucket, we can throw a bucket of water and splash it on somebody. Every part of the molecules of air splashes everywhere. It is chaotic. No, it is not chaotic. It is according to an order, according to an order. Now, for example, the water drops cannot go as they want. No, nothing can act as they want. Everything follows the order in their existence. Yep.
So
Do you want to say something? No, you?
placing a point in that order.
Placing a point, it means one thing. For example, you think this building is established or has been established within an order, not chaotic? Okay. Can you show me one thing in this building which is not consciously located in its place by something else? Right? So that's why we have to say that whoever put everything within the order of this building must meet it. But the things themselves cannot locate themselves within the order because they have no knowledge, they have no will, they have no power, they have no consciousness, so that I will be here so that the universe order shouldn't be spoiled. Huh? There is no such thing. That is the description of the Quran. I told you, and I repeat, it's a very important subject. All the description of the Quran tells that the universe is scattered, the oceans are boiling up, and the stars are really clashing within each other. Everything is collapsing, etc. They say it is the description of doomsday. Come on, man. I don't know the doomsday. None of my business. I am living here. No, it is the nature of the creation. If they were alone, themselves, without the order, if you like, without the reins in the hands of an absolute being, they would be in this way. You understand? So the universe cannot act by itself. It means nothing to do with doomsday, because doomsday will be a conscious creation, act of creation. It means, look, this building got very old. Let's build a new one instead. Knock it down. Yeah? It is called what? Call it company. What's
Demolition.
come on? Sorry?
Demolition.
A demolition company. Thank you very much. Demolition company pay them millions to knock this building down. Again, even the demolition must be done consciously, within an order. Do you understand? So the description of these sceneries in the Quran demonstrates that everything is consciously established, and if there is a need to be destroyed, consciously will be destroyed. Nothing unconscious. Nothing to do with the doomsday, or maybe a doomsday, but it's conscious action again. And is my creator frightening me that, look, I can really destroy everything at once? So I will, please don't do that, I worship you. Huh? It's not worship really. Now, one day I will die anyways. So we have to know that the nature of the universe is described in the Quran, saying that it is consciously established order. Otherwise, nothing can find its place in the universe so that it will work fine. Got it? It's very important. Unfortunately, we read the Quran simply, that's why, in a simplistic way. Inshallah. So, do they understand it? Did we understand this sentence? Is it clear? So that the book of the creation's order is so subtle and delicate that placing a point, one atom, yeah, in its exact places, you should be here. Yes? Deliberately, consciously, knowingly, knowing the future. You know, this verse is in the Ayatul Kursi, this throne verse. يَعْلَمُ مَا بَيْنَ أَيْدِيهِمْ وَمَا خَلْفَهُم. For example, where they are coming from and to which end they will be. Accordingly, every single atom must be positioned within the existence of the universe, conscious choice. Yeah, it means what is behind, what is from. You can see the creation of plants, animals, you know. For example, as soon as a tree grows, the seed grows and knows what is coming. It is well established, aware. The creator of the universe is well aware of what he's doing, where is it coming from, where it's going. So time-wise, space-wise as well, where am I going to locate it? So that the order must be preserved. Got it? So in its exact place requires an absolute knowledge and absolute power that can only be the creator of everything. Yeah? No, nothing can do it. Nothing can happen by itself in its place that I am accidentally here. No, everything within an order. No one can say that something doesn't necessitate to follow the order. Something arbitrarily acts and position itself within the universe because of its own choice. Nothing. Only human beings are given the freedom to use what is created, all right, within a limit. Again, otherwise, we can only act within the universe. We cannot get out of the universe again. But within the limit, for example, you can choose this one, you can choose this one, and that is your choice. That's how I created you. Also, our free will is consciously, deliberately arranged and created. Must be, because I didn't know that I'm going to be given a free will. I found myself with a free will as I found myself with my hands. I don't know, that's what I'm given. My human quality is also given to me. I'm not aware of it, neither my father or mother, nor the food I eat. They cannot be the source of my human qualities. So I found myself with freedom. Okay, but it doesn't mean that I can exist anywhere I like. No. I just follow already existing order, choose within that, free to choose within a certain limit. That's it. So I think the order of the universe is a very explicit evidence of that everything is done consciously as a result of choice and coming from a knowledge. What is it? Where is it coming from? And which, according to keep the order. For example, the one who built this building put the door there, knowing that after everything is done, human beings will come in, and they will get in and out, and also they will have a private room, for example, to protect themselves from the noise of outside. The door must be there, so not everywhere is open. You see, so know from where it is coming, how it is going to be used, accordingly adjusted. It's a simple example, human example. In the creation, everything is like this at every time. So definitely, this is that. It's an absolute knowledge and absolute power to execute this result. Sure. Comfortable? Stop. Okay, unfortunately, we couldn't finish. Fortunately or unfortunately, I don't know. Okay, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم وآخر دعواهم أن الحمد لله رب العالمين. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين الحمد لله رب العالمين. آمين.